The computer really wants to give me a hard time today. Why is Discord giving me a hard time? Hi, please be patient with me. All of my stuff is just immediately went to shit. Okay. I just gotta get my little thingy to work. She doesn't want to work. It doesn't seem to, but I'm sorry if you guys can hear my fan in the background. It's hot as fuck today. Why does nothing want to work? Oh, okay. Everything's moving at, like, turtle speeds. It's so bizarre. When your fucking task manager isn't responding. What the fuck is happening? Oh my god, okay, hold on. feel like I just want to keep that up if it's gonna be like this today. It's gonna be a whole shithead. Right. Is she working now? Hello? Oh, she's still not working. Why? Why no work? There we go. Alright. I had to, like, task manager, close Discord, pull a Discord back up, and then reconnect my little thing of little. Or we wouldn't have had to have her. It's weird, it's weird. Alright. I think I find... you know, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm not gonna jinx it. It's all good. Oh, shit. F. Just a tiny bit longer, I promise. I'm so sorry. This is irritating when it does this. Because it works fine, and then I go to start, and then my entire computer just goes, nah. Nah, beach. Okay. Cool. Alright. 10 minutes in and we're finally gonna play the game. Okay. Let's see how well it goes. Everything seems to be alive now. Okay. We're probably only gonna do 2 today because I really can't stay up late anymore. I have to be responsible, and that sucks, but whatever. Alright, so we're just gonna do these 2. And let's go. He has this little orca shirt. It's so cute. Cove pushed himself to his feet, from where he had bent down in the sand, stretching out his back and groaning softly. Tired breath slipped past his lips and wiped his brow, looking... I can't okay, so I can't imagine because I've done it. But when you do like trash pickup on the beach and you're just like trudging in hot sand while picking up oh, it's really terrible. Like it's such a terrible experience. Looks great. You stood beside him, joining in the survey of the sand. It almost seemed to sparkle beneath the midday sun. Yeah, it was probably hot as fuck. The two of you had been out on the beach since sunrise. Oh my god. Cleaning up and down the beach looking for various debris, and the work had paid off. Though I think I would rather, I guess I would rather clean up a beach, because I also had to do that for, it was like, the city, it was like a certain area of the city that was not well maintained, and it was not safe. It was not a safe place to be, and there were just whole trash piles everywhere that we did not clean up because the existence of like snakes and like heroin needles and stuff like that was just way too real. And so the like supervisors were like, no, you don't have to put your hand in there, just get other stuff that you can get, right? Like, and then there was stuff in like people's yards, and they're like, you can't go into people's yards to get it. You can only be on the street. It was kind of pointless, but I don't know, we tried. I think a beach might be better depending on the beach. Using a hand to shield your eyes from the blinding rays, you glanced across the way where the other volunteers of Orca were gathered. They were easily recognizable by the Hy-Vees vest they wore? What? It looked as though everyone was about ready to wrap things up for the day. I'm happy to see it in a better state. I'm exhausted. I'm just glad it was over. Yeah. It's pretty sad looking when we got here. Beaches of this town were practically our own personal backyard, and you visited them a lot. It felt good knowing that you were helping take care of them. Me. Too bad not everybody sees the joy in putting trash where it belongs. Oh well. Oh my god. During that same event when we were cleaning up the city, or the part of the city, we straight up just had people who saw us doing that and still just fucking dropped their shit on the sidewalk. And it, oh my god. Insufferable. Insufferable people. Cove placed his hands on his hips, a pleased grin pulling at the corners of his mouth as he admired the work you'd both done. You had begun to realize, during your time volunteering for the organization, how seriously Cove took his service. It was easy to see that it was something important to him. You felt equally as invested and always gave it your best efforts. You enjoyed the work, but mostly wanted to have a good time. Miranda was right, you volunteered because it was a good reference. You didn't want to be there, but you didn't know how to turn it down. I mean, I kind of wish it tagged on at the end, like, you're kind of casual, but it is nice to, like, you do want to see the beaches get better, I guess. I mean, I guess that would mean more invested than anything. Sure. It was important that the ocean you grew up with was protected. It had always been a big part of your life, and you felt that the least you could do was give back in some way. Nice work. Thanks. It's been a good year so far. It's crazy to think that it's already time to push the big event. The what now? You let out a big breath, thinking of the formal dinner that Orca organized every year. Can I just opt out of those? I don't want to do those. Being a completely fundraising-focused event for large donors, it was crucial for the organization's projects in the year to come. Okay. You had to be over 18 to attend, so this was your first opportunity to actually see it in person. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. All you heard about it so far was that it was prim and proper occasion with speeches and everything. You didn't know what else to expect from it, as you weren't a part of the group who planned the evening. Before the big night came around, the volunteers would have to sell the tickets for it, and that's where you'd be helping. I'm so excited to go. I'm nervous. I don't even really want to go. I'm curious. You should. I think I'd be okay with going, especially like if Cove was there too, and this is like an organization that, you know, is cool. But I just hate big parties, man. I can't stand them. You looked down at the sand shyly, twisting your fingers together. It was going to be fancy and full of very important strangers. I can agree with you there. It's part of the program, though. I just don't feel excited about attending a super formal meal with proper etiquette and stuff, you know? Oh, the meal doesn't bother me. You just eat. Most people don't care that much about etiquette as long as you're not a fucking mess, right? Like, eh. He threw his arms out to the side, making a bit of a show at how ridiculous it seemed to him. I've got sand all over my room and only one nice shirt, and I go barefoot pretty much whenever I can. I'm gonna be so out of place. Yeah, right, I'd bet you'd rather stay out here. I don't want to have to worry about manners. You can make it work for one night. Do something that fancy. Doing something that fancy will be fun. You definitely seem optimistic. This is where you really belong, not in a white-collar society. He chuckled a little and gave you a sidelong glance. You know me too well. You're easy. You're easy to know. Oop, give me 1 second. That's a boo getting home. I was given a cookie. Worth it. Right. A small beeping noise came from Cove's pant pocket, and he pulled it out and glanced at the screen. Huh? It's the organizers. They sent a text to the group. Time to call it a day here. Ready to head to our next activity. Let's head over and drop the trash bags off at the trucks. Then we can drive back and join the ticket team. With a stretch of shore this long, the plan was to switch places with the other team who had been pushing the tickets for the fundraising dinner halfway through. That's fair. It'd be a full day of work, but it was Orca's largest event of the year, and all hands were on deck to make sure it was successful. You raised your hand for a high five, you nudged your shoulder against Cove's, you started pushing Cove on the back to move forward, you ran off, you started to walk. He chuckled and nudged you back playfully with his now free hand. You collected the trash bags, spread across the way together, heading across the beach and hoisting them into the trucks, before heading off to the next job. Cove slipped his warm hand into yours, and you intertwined your fingers, strolling back to the car. It's so cute, but oh my god, it's too hot for this. Maybe it's because I'm like hot right now. I'm feeling like the heat on the beach. Like by proxy or something, I don't know. The drive back to your neighborhood and The drive back to your neighborhood and making your way to the shopping street was fairly quick, though Cove stressed a little about being late. Luckily, he was able to find a parking spot nice and close to where you needed to be. You jumped out of the car and quickly went towards where you knew the group would be. Finally reaching the stall that was set up to sell tickets, you stopped for a moment to catch your breath. That was quite the flurry of activity. And now I get to sit and sell tickets. It'd be your job for the rest of the afternoon to help sell tickets for the fundraising dinner. And looking around the street, you saw that there were plenty of potential buyers out today. That would hopefully help to move the tickets along. I feel like it's kind of weird to sell tickets. I mean, I guess you would continue to sell tickets over a couple days, including the day of. But I do find it a little weird that it's like the day of and you're selling tickets. Because how are people going to have time to prepare? I mean, I guess people do it all the time, right? If you're being all touristy, you're just prepared to like, ooh, let's find weird stuff and fun stuff to do. The stall itself was simple, a portable table with a few plush sea animals as decorations and the banner stuck across the front. I want the plushies. There were 2 volunteers who were already packing up and getting ready to head off to the beach. They gave both of you a friendly smile as you arrived. Hey Cove, Little, how'd things go at the beach?
Not bad.
It was good. The place is looking great. We're lucky to get the two for one when it comes to you guys. Cove cleared his throat awkwardly from beside you, and you noticed his cheeks flushing pink. Here we go again. You laughed it off. That's right, that's us. You felt your own cheeks get hotter. Their teasing rubbed you the wrong way. It was barely even teasing. It was not that big of a deal. We're joined at the hips. Yeah, we can't even. Like, you can't even deny that. This is a big ass cookie. Hold on. Cookie. The volunteers chuckled and packed up the last of their stuff, and Cove seemed to relax a little more. The volunteers made room for you and Cove behind the table while they circled around the front of it. Thanks for coming for a shift. We'd better make this quick so we can head off to the next place. We're ready for whatever is needed. One of the volunteers handed you a clipboard that all the details needed to sell tickets. There were other tossed a set of keys to Cove, which he caught with ease. Those are for the money box and the supply kit. Make sure to keep them on you at all times. Fuck yeah, money! Aside from handling the cash for tickets, there's also a form on the clipboard for the guests to fill in their info. That way we know how many tickets we've sold, and we will be attending the event. Oh, who will be attending the event. There's a small script beneath that if you get stuck on what to say and what it's about. Pretty simple, huh? Satisfied that you knew what you were doing, the volunteers said their goodbyes and started walking away, leaving you and Cove to manage the stall alone. The keys jingled in his hand as Cove waved them off, before he stuffed them into his pocket of his pants for safety. Once the volunteers were out of sight, Cove dropped down into his chair behind the counter with a sigh. We made it here just in time. It's cool we traded places with nothing happening. They might have been late getting to cleanup duty. I wonder if there's something, like, if certain personality traits show up, or if you do certain things, I guess. If you guys can, like, actually be late. He leaned back in his seat, getting fully comfortable in the space, and gave you a small smile. You took the other seat. Oh, I'm not gonna stand in this fucking hot-ass sun, are you shitting me? It was just a simple plastic chair that squeaked when you sat on it, but it gave you a good view of the street. We've got things under control. I'm so stressed about getting here. Things could still go wrong. I'm glad this work lets us at least rest in one place. Rubbed your eyes tight. Sure. Yeah, I really needed to get off my feet for 5 seconds. Cove rummaged around the station. Oh, rummaged around the station a little, picking up a stuffed toy orca and holding it up in front of his face. He had to admit it was pretty cute, with its big bulging eyes and oversized flippers. Orcas are bastards, though. Orcas are I am way more scared of orcas than I am of, like, sharks, man. Like, they're mean. Sharks are just hungry. Orcas are malicious. Setting him back down on top of the table, Cove moved on to check out the rest of the stall. With the lid, you could see it was filled with half-melted ice cubes and about half a dozen bottles of water. Bottles of water. Grabbing one of the plastic bottles, he unscrewed the cap and took a long drink. You watched the condensation running along the side and onto his fingers.
So?
You want one? Cove set his water on his side of the table before pulling out another and holding it out towards you. Yes, water, please, delicious. Thanks. After opening it up, you took a drink and let out a satisfied sigh. You hadn't realized how thirsty you'd been. It was always good to stay hydrated. Yeah, especially out on the fucking beach with all the damn sand and the fucking sun. Sometimes I miss the beach and then I'm like, do I though? I miss the water. I miss the water. I don't miss the sun, and I don't miss the sand. And I don't miss the people. The two of you got settled in easily, and you took the chance to look over the paperwork on the clipboard. Cove joined you, leaning over your shoulder to get a better look. Seems like pretty standard stuff. Yeah, I think so, probably. I mean, it's volunteer work. I can't imagine it's super complicated. I mean, at least what we're doing. He muttered and you nodded quietly. It had general info about the event and the work you needed to do at the stall. It was, as well as the amount of tickets sold thus far, and the number remaining. Nice. Cove tapped a finger on the counter as he read quietly over the notes, muttering a few things now and then that you didn't fully hear. He seemed content to be there, and you were sure that the afternoon would pass by quickly. When he glanced out towards the crowd and made a small sound, you followed his line of sight to see that a potential supporter was on their way over to the booth. You psyched yourself up, you feel anxious, it was time to do customer service. Ew, yeah. You tried to relax for a bit, this is gonna be a pain. It wasn't always easy for you to do things like this, especially when those things required talking to strangers. But you had to remind yourself that you were doing it for a reason. Taking in a deep breath, you made eye contact with the customer and gave them a small smile. Time passed as the two of you manned the stall, and as people approached, your sales pitch would either have them asking for a ticket or two, or heading off and mumbling maybe next time. All in all, you managed to sell a decent amount of tickets, and you could tell that Cove was happy with the outcome. As the afternoon drifted along, 6 p.m. arrived, time to pack everything up and head home for the evening. Your work with Orca was far from over, but right now there was only one thing left to focus on, attending the act. How late does the event start? Did they say? Did I forget that part? Because, like, oh god, we get off at 6 p.m. and when do we have to... How long does it go for if it starts that late? I can't imagine it goes that late. The days continued on and... Oh, the days continued on and... Oh, because it's a few... I'm stupid. It was a few days out. Okay. I guess I missed that. I don't remember. The days continued in the normal flow, and before long, the night of the Orca fundraising dinner was upon you. It was early evening, and you were in your room getting ready as the minutes ticked closer and closer towards the time you needed to leave. You wanted some privacy, so you had locked yourself away in your room. Liz was helping you pick out an outfit. Cove was on speakerphone. Liz was helping you with... I will just ask my sister. Because I think this is normally... I didn't have a sister, but... Like, my aunts, or my mom, or one of the women that I was living with would always, like, be kind of nice to just kind of sit there and talk to you while you do it. You stood in front of her, considering different items while she sat on the edge of your bed, lips pursed tight. She had given a firm yes or no to each item you showed her, which had now reduced your options down into a small pile to choose from. The event had strict guidelines, and you wouldn't be let in unless you were dressed to code. Ew. That meant having to find a truly professional outfit, but one that you were also happy with. You were happy to have a chance to dress fancy, you wanted to be practical. I mean, if you're gonna dress fancy, you might as well, like, go for it, I guess? Like, I think I talked about this last time, that if you're gonna... Like, I don't own a lot of fancy clothes, I don't wear a lot of fancy clothes, but if you're going somewhere fancy, and you have, like, the one dress or the one outfit you never fucking wear because it's too fancy for anything else. But apparently I've said this to people, and I'm alone in that world. Because they're like, oh, we just wear it whenever. Just wear it if you want to wear it. And I'm like, oh, no. There were a couple of outfits that didn't get nearly as much as you would have liked, and now was the time to show them off. You smiled as you picked your way through the items, your excitement shining bright.
That's fine.
You don't need to get into your head thinking about the look, but you do need to hurry up and pick something. It really shouldn't be this difficult to pick something out, you just needed to take the plunge and do it. Taking a deep breath and refocusing yourself, you looked over the options one last time. It was time to decide on an outfit and quick. You chose a dress, you chose a button-down shirt and pants, you chose a blouse and pants, you chose a button-down shirt and skirt, you chose a blouse and skirt. Sure. Liz nodded in approval, clapping her hands together, satisfied.
Good.
Finally, you're making some progress. Standing in front of your mirror, you quietly assessed your outfit. You thought about adding an accessory to, you liked it. Fuck it. It needed a little something extra to finish it off. Like, yeah, you can do like a necklace or ear, like, I don't know. I'm not good at accessorizing or fashiony stuff, but again, if you're gonna go out, why not add some stuff, like stuff you don't wear? Rummaging through the rest of your wardrobe, you picked out what you needed to complete your outfit. Ooh! Ooh! Okay. Let's go. Ooh, a shawl, that's cute. A tie. That'd be cute. We'll... probably this. Well, do I only get to pick one? I thought I could pick more than one. Alright, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm gonna pick this one for meta reasons. Cool. You had to quickly remove your shoes and slip on the anklet before stepping back into them again. Cool, okay, I do get to pick more than one. Gotcha. I didn't remember. Okay. We'll also go with the necklace and probably the earrings, and that's more than enough for me. That's not too much. Actually, fuck the earrings, which isn't okay, it's fine. Turning back to mirror, you let Liz drape your best necklace around your neck and clasp it together at the back. Okay. Alright, fuck the earrings, let's go. And with that, you decided to apply makeup, you asked Liz if she could put makeup on you. Oh. And me. I don't need that. That's fine. I'll go without. Finally, you were dressed. It had all come together. Cove sent through a text message saying he was headed to the car and would see you in a bit. When you looked at Liz again, she had a goofy smile pulling at her lips. You look very nice. Thank you, sis. You're so sweet. You twisted around in your outfit excitedly. I do look good, don't I? Now you're talking like our moms. You blushed and smiled at the compliment. And thanks for helping me out. I'm sure it wasn't easy. Liz laughed softly and ruffled your hair, but only barely. Not enough to actually mess it up. Oh my god, I would be a bitch. I mean, it's not like I do anything with my hair, but I'd be like, please, I don't want to have to fight. Please. You got that one right, but you know I'm here whenever you need it. Aww. I love my sis. Liz wiped a pretend tear away with her fingers, sniffling dramatically. Oh, precious little. You're really all grown up. It happened in the blink of an eye when I wasn't even looking. Liz, please. She chuckled to herself, nudging you towards the door. Time to get downstairs. You're very official. Though still kind of a baby. Boyfriend awaits. You carefully headed down the stairs and into the living room where your moms were waiting for your appearance. Hi, mamas. As you entered, they both stood from the couch and came over to you, smiling broadly. Look at my moms. They're so pretty. You look so wonderful, little.
Nice.
And very mature, too. Thanks. They continued to coo and oh god, please don't know. It's embarrassing enough. Oh my god. This is like real life. My family is just like a bunch of girls. It's like my mom, my aunts, my cousins, I think, are all girls except for one. And they just fuss over everything and they just tease you and make you dress up and it's silly. You enjoyed the attention, thank you. You sighed dramatically. I already got this from Liz. You wondered why they were making such a big deal. I'll just say thank you. It felt a little strange to have everyone's attention on you, but you liked it nonetheless. It's fine. Liz smiled at you from where she stood, her expression soft. Ma came and gave you one last hug, and before you knew it, another pair of arms were wrapped around you, and then a third. Both Mom and Liz giggled as they hugged you tight. We hope you have so much fun tonight.
Have fun.
We won't wait up for you. Stay out as long as you need. You're old enough now. And then this is where my mom would tack on at the end, just don't get pregnant. That was always her finishing line whenever I would go out to do something. She's like, just don't get pregnant. And I'm like, Mom, please. I wasn't even dating anybody. She's like, that doesn't matter. Just don't get pregnant. Thanks, Mom. With a last wave goodbye, you left your family and approached the front door. It was time. I almost just fell out of my chair. Stepping out into the night, you closed the door behind you gently and looked out across the street. Oh, he looks so cute. Cove was standing there in the street. His eyes met yours immediately, as if he had been watching your house from the moment you would come out. He smiled bashfully. Hey. I hope you're ready to do this. You took a chance to check over his outfit as he walked across the way to meet you. It was formal for sure, though it didn't feel overly polished. Is it supposed to be overly posh? I'm stupid. It made sense for him and was honestly a sight for sore eyes. He was always beautiful to you. Yes, he is. With a growing smile, he stepped closer, his cheeks reddening all the way down to his neck.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming with me and for dressing really nicely for this. Your outfit is just perfect. Oh, thanks. Oh my god. Oh. His gaze traveled downwards to take in your full form. I'm gonna get self-conscious here, but I freak out. And he leaned in only inches away from your face to whisper, oh, in your ear, his warm breath tickling your skin. I like the ankle bracelet. Eee. Your cheeks went hot and you bit on your lip to keep from smiling too much. Now that was news to you. You made a mental note to remember it in the future. So, I told you I picked that because I had meta knowledge. You can learn that information at 13 during like the RV camping trip. There's certain questions you can ask him, or like if you push. I almost did it. I was in the conversation with him, and I don't remember what I had picked initially to get him to tell me, but I picked different things and he didn't tell me this time around. But I figured it would still be an option here, and that we would learn it at this segment if that was the case. I was gonna be sad if we didn't, because it's such a cute little thing that he's into ankle bracelets. Thank you. You felt shy over it. You look amazing tonight. You're so hot right now. Ooh! Ooh! Do we want to be flirty? I can... Sure. Cove hung his bright red face in embarrassment. After that, he wrapped his arms around his torso bashfully, as if trying to protect himself and the outfit from further teasing. You laughed at the reaction. Then he shook his head, glancing towards the garage and throwing a thumb over his shoulder, spoke. We should probably get going. Wouldn't want to be late to such a grown-up event, right? You headed over to Cove's car together, hopping in and strapping your seatbelts. You were on your way. The event was being held at a place you had never been before. You brought up the location on your phone to help Cove navigate there. It took some time to find the right address, but once you were there, you met with the task of finding a parking spot. Though you were on time, it seemed like everyone else had already showed up and claimed their spaces. Eventually, you found a suitable place before realizing that it required payment. Cove covered the amount, taking the ticket from the machine and leaving it on the dashboard of the car. Despite the small hold-up, you managed to ultimately make it to the event and confirm you were on the guest list before being shown into the dining area. Imagine getting here and you're like not on the guest list. You're like, you're not supposed to be here, and you're like, bitch, I just spent hours on the beach picking up shit. You're letting me in. Cove whistled low as he looked around, taking in the extravagance of the room. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling, and the entire place was decked out with beautiful oceanic displays. Is this like an aquarium? There's fishies. So these are projectors that have, like, fishy life on them. Are these supposed to be projectors that have, or TV screens with fishies? Or is it like they just have big aquariums in this event hall? It was extremely high class, even more so than you had already expected. It's so nice. This is the best looking event I've ever been to. It's too frilly for me. It's so overdone. Could be worse. It looks nice. You had to be impressed by the work that had gone into making everything look this lovely, and how everyone had dressed up in their best outfits for the night. Seeing Cove smile as he took in the sights made you think he must be feeling the same way. I mean, it's impressive. Even if, like, you're uncomfortable, you're like, wow, somebody put a lot of fucking work into this. The sound of your names being called out echoed over the din of the room. When you looked around, you recognized a couple of organization leaders looking your way. They approached you both in greeting, giving you a welcome smile and a hello. Cove Little, we're glad to see you could make it, especially after all the hard work you've done to help make this night happen.
Of course.
Definitely, I wasn't gonna miss it. Hi. You say that as if we had a choice. Hi. It was nice to see some familiar faces and to feel so accepted here. Well, thank you for being a part of the team. Oops. You're our best power couple, that's for sure. You're always welcome to participate in more activities when they come up. Cove let out an awkward, breathy laugh and rubbed the back of his neck. Everybody knows we're together. Everybody knows. We're inseparable. Good to know. Cove shrugged then, eyes darting around the place with an awkward look.
So,
I guess we should talk to more people? There isn't much else to do at an event like this. What I usually end up doing is sitting at the table and picking at food and drinking water. That's what I do at events like this. You found your way into groups of people that were standing around chatting while some light music played in the background. Servers with large silver trays were gliding between the guests, offering drinks and canapes? I don't know what that is. Cove was clearly hesitant to actually approach the people, but was able to respond with various people greeting him first. You were overjoyed. You were enjoying talking to so many different people. Disagree. No, I'm not. Both guests and members of the organization alike, and found yourself enjoying the company. The sound of a microphone crackling came from the podium the other end of the room. Someone who you assumed must be the host for everything. Wouldn't we know? I mean, I guess we don't have to know, but whatever. Was asking everyone to sit down in preparation for the meal and speeches. You and Cove looked for your table, finding it easily enough with the little name cards placed directly beside the napkins. A few others joined you at the table, though they weren't anyone that you recognized. The host was still speaking, as people were settling, starting off the speeches by giving a welcome to everyone attending. She went on to provide some more information about Orca, why it's named after the most homicidal whale creature in existence. Which you suppose was for the guests who weren't a part of the organization and the purpose of the fundraiser tonight. Aren't orcas not technically a whale? Aren't they like murder dolphins? Or something? Orca's goals, as she explained it, were to aid the conservation and restoration of oceans and beaches. There were many people who had helped to make the group as successful as it was. When she read off a list of several volunteers who worked on making the event happen, Cove's name was one of the first to come up. Eee! His cheeks flushed with a shy pride in that. Your name then came up a little further down the list. You were smiling from ear to ear at the mention. As she continued on, thanking the large donors for the event, you checked over at Cove. Oh, he's so happy! Look at his happy little face. He was still grinning happily to himself and tapping his fingers over the tops of his knees, pretty pleased to have been mentioned by name. He laughed quietly as a reaction. He rolled his eyes. You were excited for him. You could relate to that feeling. I'm excited for him. I'm happy he is enjoying this. He had worked so hard to make this event happen, it was the least he deserved. While the host continued speaking, multiple servers dressed in black were setting the first course of the menu in front of the guests. One of the servers set down a plate in front of you, and you thanked them quietly before looking over the dish with interest. You recognized the dish was a simple Caesar salad. The host quickly wrapped up the end of her speech, thanking everyone once more before inviting you all to begin your meal. Anyone who had included a special dietary note when signing up for the event received a vegan or vegetarian version, and there were also small baskets of bread set around the table. You ate both the salad and the bread. You just ate the salad. You just ate some of the bread. You didn't eat it. Cove wolfed down his salad before munching into a breadstick, quickly devouring what was there. I hope the next part comes out soon and is bigger. It's like a bottomless pit. You could hear him mumbling to himself as he reached over for another piece of bread. He glanced around the table and you followed his line of sight with curiosity, noting that everyone else was still eating the salad. Stopping his hand mid-air, he quickly pulled back and rested it on his lap without taking another breadstick after all. It was clear that he was starting to feel unsure about himself, and he looked a little out of place. He folded his arms and turned away from them to you. Did you like the salad? It was really good, it was too small, it was alright. I'm sure it was fine. I can't wait to see what else they serve. His gaze remained purposefully tunneled on you as if he was trying not to think about what... He's really trying not to grab that breadstick. Just take the breadstick. I'm sure they can bring more. You gave Cove a pat on the hand. You made a silly face at the other guests while they weren't looking. You picked a breadstick and gave it to Cove. You discreetly flipped the other guests off. Okay. You sat there quietly, feeling uncomfortable with yourself. But just give him the breadstick. Oh, thank you. Cove spoke gently as he took the bread from your hand, looking choked up by your reassurance. He munched away on it happily, seeming much more at ease. It wasn't much longer until the main course was arriving and various chicken, steak, and veggie dishes were being served throughout the room. An array of scents wafted through the room, making your mouth water. You had chosen chicken, you had chosen steak, you went vegan, you went vegetarian. I don't know, man. Fuck it. It was nice that you had been given the option on how you like your steak cooked. The meal on the plate in front of you seemed perfectly to your tastes. Cove had gone for the steak, and once he started to dig in, he was completely absorbed in his meal. You're gonna choke if you keep inhaling your food like that. You kicked him under the table teasingly. You put a hand on his thigh under the... If we do that, he is gonna choke. I feel like he's gonna start choking. He's gonna, like, start coughing if we do this. But I also want to do this. You couldn't resist the little teasing while he was distracted. Your arm reached forward out of view of everyone else, hidden by the heavy tablecloth. You let your fingers lay to rest on the center of his nearest thigh. Cove stopped eating immediately, his eyebrows banging against the top of the... Oh, his elbows banging against the top of the table in shock as his face slowly turned red. You have no chill. Baby, you need some chill. The tableware next to him rattled from the impact when it settled down. He spoke creakily without moving to face you directly. Yes? Nothing. Is something the matter? His flustered frown deepened. Little, you should probably... Cove's voice trailed off quickly, and you got the impression he was about to ask you to stop, but he didn't really want you to. You kept your hand where it was for a little longer, giving his leg a gentle squeeze until he cleared his throat and leaned in closer to you. You probably shouldn't keep doing that right now. Sorry, baby. I just think it's cute. Fine. It was a shame it had to end, but you were content with how long he had let you keep your hand where it was. You returned your hand to your own lap. Cove let out a small sigh of relief and continued eating again, though at a slower pace, and he was still distracted. Well, a mission accomplished. He's eating at a slower pace. It worked. Dinner eventually ended, and last of all was dessert, a lemon sherbet that had been partially dyed blue. The mix of white with the bold streaks of blue made the little scoop look like a ball of roaring ocean waves. The effect was very pretty, but the serving size was small. Perhaps it was the price to pay for artistry. You turned to Cove to find him pouting a little at the size of it. I mean, that's usually just how these events go, right? The portions are small, and even then, I don't even know if they're technically that small, as much as, like, as people in America-ish are used to large portions of crap. So maybe they're just, like, actually appropriately portioned. Like, 1 scoop of ice cream is enough. Digging into the dessert, it took him only a few bites to polish it off. Again, the other people around the table had barely even begun eating. Probably because they're chatting and we're like foodies. We like food. An unimpressed air settled over him as he sat back in his chair, sipping at the water unhappily. You should appreciate what you got. You laughed at his moping. You're such a big baby. We can get more dessert later. He looked at you sheepishly, embarrassed to have been caught sulking over such a thing. He fumbled for a defense. It was just really good, that's all. And now it's gone, but I'm okay. With a slight grin, he shrugged to show that he was really fine. Would you like a bite of mine? Do you want my dessert? You scooped up a spoonful of your sherbet and offered it to him, holding a hand beneath it to avoid any drips. His eyes widened as he eyed the dessert hungrily, surprised by the offer. Why? I always fucking share my food with him. He shouldn't be surprised anymore. Recovering quickly, he leaned forward over the table, lifting out of the chair as he ate the treat from your spoon. He was really excited about the little piece of sherbet. As he sat back, humming happily with his mouth full, you couldn't help but smile at the sight. He's so cute. Cove swallowed the faux oaf. Damn it. And let out a satisfied sigh, even though it wasn't that much more. The simple fact that he had gotten more hit the spot. Thanks. You're welcome. He thought back on the way he used to be so terrified of sampling food that was yours, and now he hardly batted an eye. Yeah, you gotta sharing food, right? I'm just one of those people. I always share my fucking food with people. I just don't give a shit. Unless it's like, I don't know, there's a reason I don't want to share it. Like, I know they're gonna take too much. It was always amazing when you were stuck with how he'd grown and how he'd stay the same. Another person of Orca got on stage to make a speech as everyone was nearing the end of their meal. They spoke mostly about the individual projects that the organization was working on and their plans for the near future, as well as encouraging everyone who was interested to consider volunteering. Cove bent forward over the table with his chin balanced on his hand, listening attentively to the words. As they came to a conclusion and everyone gave them a round of applause, Cove caught your eye and smiled. You wondered what would happen now. Then the lights dimmed and a couple of spotlights came on, projecting a waterlight effect around the room. The guests gushed over the ambiance, and you looked around with wide eyes at the ripples on the walls. The DJ that had previously been playing some soft music in the background announced that the floor was open for dancing, slowly turned the volume up to let it drift through the space. When you glanced at Cove, his eyebrows had shot up and he mumbled quietly. I didn't know there would be dancing. I guess it makes sense now that I think about it. He gave an awkward laugh as you both watched as people rose from their seats. It was clear now that many of the donors were couples. Well, I'm sure it's like, not to say that like both of them aren't the donors, but normally it's like, you go to these events, you take your spouse, or whoever. A small crowd had started to form on the dance floor and the DJ played romantic songs to get everyone started off. Cove let his gaze float over the small sea of guests who were moving onto the floor, bleh. His hands twisting in his lap as his lips pulled into a tight line. Then with a breath and a lift of his hand, he turned to you. Aww. Bitch, I don't know how to dance. But that's so cute, because we had to ask him to dance when we were little. Of course I do. I was just about to ask you the same thing. He let out a stuttering laugh. Accepting Cove's outstretched hand, you rose from your seat together and stepped out onto the floor. When you had found a spot for yourself amongst the other guests, you turned and faced him, standing close. Cove gave you a small smile as you looked up at him. He seemed a little nervous. I don't know how to dance. Not for real. That's fine. We can just do the awkward sway thing. I don't think anybody's really gonna judge us. He admitted with a slight squeeze of your hand and a sheepish look. You gave him a reassuring grin and nudged a little closer to him still. That's okay. I know. Do I? Did I decide that earlier? I don't remember. With a familiar face full of affection, he let go of you and raised his arms to slide both of his hands around your neck. Oh! I'm leading? That's cute! You wrapped your arms around him in response. Together you gently swayed to the music, moving your feet in time with a delicate beat. That's so cute! I don't think that happened last time. I must have picked something else that changed this. Or I just forgot. It was nice just being here like this in each other's arms. You didn't have to worry about whether you knew the right steps or not. There was always a way to make it work between the two of you. Cove leaned his head in nearer to yours, his forehead so close to yours they almost touched. His breath was warm as he let out a content sigh, tickling your skin. You really do look good tonight. You're such a beautiful woman. Blush. Thank you. You smiled widely, feeling your cheeks hot. Hotter at the compliment. Have you had a nice time? I hope you did. Yes, I have. I came here with you, so yeah. I was having a pretty bad time until right now. Well, I've had worse nights. You leaned in and kissed him. Go for it! His eyelids fluttered closed as your lips met with a soft kiss, and when he pulled back, he smiled at you gently. You're so cute! His bright eyes stayed locked on yours, studying you with unmistakable adoration. Thank you for staying. You're still here, just like you promised you would be. Your heart felt light as you continued to sway whilst holding your most beloved person. So glad to be able to share a moment like this with him. It's so cute. His smile suddenly tilted unexpectedly. You couldn't guess the thought that crossed over his face. Hey, little. His voice a gentle whisper, he let you in on his small secret. You know, I like to complain about things and that other people can stress me out, but
It's nice.
coming here with you tonight didn't make me feel bad, not even a little. Your lips parted at the words, old memories rushing back to the surface of your mind, those of your very first formal party together, the summer soiree at the country club. I was pretty sure that was going to come back in. In an instant, you were 13 years old again, sitting on a grassy hill in the dark golf course with your neighbor. It was an experience you could never forget, where it felt as though there was no one else in the world, and where he made you feel like there was no one else. Did I fuck up? Where it felt as there was no one else in the world, and where he made you feel like there was no one else in the world he wanted. Oh, no one else in the world he wanted to be with more. Okay. This was the night Cove tried so hard to enjoy with you, but had been plagued by his anxieties despite it all, and now. I'm so glad you began to tear up happily. It was probably the water theme of this party that put you at ease. Feeling emotional, that was all you could choke out, and you found yourself holding onto him tighter. Cove's hand caressed the back of your neck, making you feel truly treasured. It's so cute! Even though I still get like that sometimes when there's other stuff in our lives that's too much for me to deal with. It's okay. I mean, you're fine. But being with you, that's not one of those things. You make it so easy to do. You make me happy, more than happy. When I'm with you, I feel safe. It's so cute. His voice wavered ever so slightly, his feelings getting the best of him. I want more than anything to be able to do that for you. Ah! He broke on the last word, tears glistening in the corners of his eyes. You already have, you wipe his tears away. You nodded it quietly. I'll always be there for you, I promise. I want all of the options, though. I want to do all of it. Can I, like, say this, then do this, then kiss him? Like, please, please! He whispered securely. He stopped moving to the music, taking a moment to look at you, with nothing else taking focus. He tried to speak, though there was nothing he could manage the first time. He tried again, but still couldn't say much. Then I'll keep doing it. A lot has happened, huh? You nodded faintly. You weren't sure if he meant just today, this summer, or your entire time knowing each other. Basically, right now, most of your life. Nearly all of your life. Like, minus 8 years. But it didn't really matter. It was true either way. Thinking back on the years that you and Cove had been neighbors, it was difficult to even try and reflect on it all at once.
I'm so glad.
I'm glad we ended up here. He gave you a soft look, and you beamed, knowing that could also mean many things. But from his tone, you were certain he didn't only mean here at this event. It was more than that. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I love that song! So am I. I think we have to tell your dad thanks. You're amazing. You couldn't even speak. You chuckled happily at the two of you and the long adventure you'd been on. You loved him fully and completely. You did. His smile widened and he pressed his body against yours, resting his head in the crook of your neck. He has to be like crouching because I'm so much shorter than he is. Stroking the back of your head with his fingers. You tightened your grip on him and let your head fall against his shoulder. As the night drifted on, you held each other tight, swaying to the music as if you were the only ones in the room. Oh god. Imagine being like the people dancing next to these kids and just being like, oh, they're so cute, but I'm embarrassed by proxy. Like, oh. Cove was sweet the entire time, his warmth brushing against your skin as he whispered words of affection in your ear. Stop! He's trying to seduce me. It's working. He was extremely good at making you feel special. You couldn't have hidden your blissful smile even if you wanted to. The party eventually started to wind down, and at last it came to an end. When the main lights turned on, you blinked against the brightness of them, making sure you still had Cove in your sights. One final speaker came up to the podium on the stage, thanking all the guests for coming and wishing everyone a good night. It was bittersweet to see it come to a close. Your time with Cove here was precious. At least the memories could be brought with you. Giving the space one more look, you walked together with Cove out to the parking lot. The other guests were doing the same, so you got stuck in a bit of a crowd. Though Cove was so tall, you could always see him, and it was easy enough to not get separated. I mean, we're probably literally like attached at the hip. Like, whenever you're in crowds like this, you like latch. The parking lot itself was quite big, and even more noticeable now with fewer cars blocking the view. It took a little while to actually locate Cove's car across this expanse. Eventually you found it, and the two of you bundled inside the vehicle and buckled up. The trip home was quiet as you both silently reflected back on the experience. The event had been the biggest night of the year for Orca, and now it was all over just like that. Outside your window, the surroundings soon became familiar, and you found yourselves back in the neighborhood. Cove pulled the car into his driveway and put it in park before letting out a relieved breath. Home sweet home. Yeah. After climbing out of the car, you walk slowly down to the road, Cove coming over to stand beside you. You stopped in the middle of the street, right between your house and his, and turned to him, finding him in the process of opening his mouth to speak. Strangely, he clamped his lips together as though he had suddenly thought better of it. You also stayed silent. That was quite a night. Good night, Cove. Thank you for taking me. Thanks for coming with me. You kissed him goodnight. You stepped in for a hug. You ruffled his hair. You gave him a friendly nudge. You kiss him goodnight. Needing to be close again before the night ended, you pressed your lips against his in a gentle kiss. He smiled as you separated, running his fingers over the side of your face.
Night.
So cute! With a last wispy smile, he left towards the front door, figuring you shouldn't linger in the street for much longer. You crossed the remainder of the road and did the same. When you reached your house, you pulled out your keys and stuck them in the door, trying your best to be silent about it. Opening the door crack, you turned back to look at Cove from over your shoulder. Your eyebrows lifted in surprise to see he was doing the same, holding his front door open, but waiting for you to go inside before he did. You shared an amused smile before you both stepped into your own houses, locking the doors behind you. It was quite late, so everyone else was already asleep. Yeah, I guess it did run really late. Whatever. As quiet as a mouse, you tiptoed up to your bedroom and changed out of your formal clothes into your pajamas. Now that you were finally home, you were exhausted. You brushed your teeth and got ready for bed in darkness before crawling under the covers and letting out a heavy sigh. It was still strange to think about how that was it. The build-up to the event had felt like so much, now it was completely behind you. Your mind was busy with rapid yet metal thoughts as you faded closer and closer to sleep. As unconsciousness creeped up over you, you felt more content. It was a big deal, but there would be more in the future. You could accept what it had been, and you could dream about what you'd got to experience next. And then you were of course. And then you were taken away from your dreams, right back to reality by a sound. Your eyebrows pinched together, fully unprepared fully unprepared to be a part of the waking world again. The day was over, and it had been an eventful one. But you heard another noise. It was tapping. Your eyes flew open. The window, there was tapping that came... It's one of those things where, like, you can condition yourself. You condition yourself to the tapping. You know who it is. Cove Holden. You slowly forced yourself to get up. You went over to let the guy in. You rushed over to him. You extricated, I think that's right, yourself from your bed, yawning. You stretched your arms and then made your way to the window. There was another tap right before you arrived. When you pulled it wide open, Cove was indeed there. You had not been surprised to find that Cove awkwardly crouched on your window ledge. However, you were taken aback to see that he was a little overdressed. Cove hadn't changed out of his formal clothes. You didn't change out of your nice pants before you climbed up here? Baby! You also noticed that he was perched clumsily. You didn't know if it was because he was trying to keep his fancy clothes clean, or if he felt weird about something. His body was too stiff and awkward. Even given that Cove was normally all thumbs, he looked off balance significantly more than usual. Cove smiled sheepishly. Hi. Just say hi. You moved aside to let him climb inside. He cautiously stepped down by stretching his legs over. Strangely, he didn't use his hands for support. It was clear to you now he was holding something. When he was safely on his feet, he briefly checked out his clothes. Twisting around to see the back of his pants, he caught you looking and shrugged.
I mean,
I did go home after the event, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to settle down, so I just walked back out. Okay. Because I had to talk.
What, man, make it read. Eat your cookie.
I needed fresh air and time away from everything. He paused for a moment and raised his clasped hand together where you could see them. But then something happened, and well, so I have something I want to show you. Cove grinned like a child and gently unfurled his fingers, not being able to keep you in suspense for even a minute. Carefully sitting inside his was a tiny yellow light. It blinked off, and then again, a firefly. Delicately, he moved his hand closer so you could see the creature better. I'm surprised it hasn't flown away yet. They're back! Oh, he's so cute! He closed his eyes, his smile now faintly illuminated by his insect companion. Remember the first time I caught one? I always will. I could barely manage anything because of that neon pink cast, and I was stuck with all summer. You were still stunned by what was happening, but couldn't help snickering as when Cove did. Look at the cutie! It was thanks to you that I finally held a firefly in my own hand. I was happy too. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see them this year. I don't know why, it's just... They were kind of late, and I guess I've been worrying a lot about stuff lately. You could tell that the firefly genuinely lifted his spirits. He seemed at peace, and he wanted to share that with you. That's so cute! It's probably like 1 in the morning. The fact that his first thought about discovering the fireflies was to come over and celebrate the joy with you made you suddenly feel very cherished. He's so cute! I love how they lit this little scene, and they had to, because he can have like hair and different glasses and stuff, they had to change it for every hairstyle. So I don't know, like maybe there's a filter. Cove opened his eyes, but he looked away, not meeting yours.
it's nice.
It's really nice, I think. Even if the fireflies disappear for a while, it doesn't mean they're really gone. They'll come back. I can see them again. You smiled. Technically, fireflies aren't even gone. They're just eggs and larvae. And then you looked at the firefly keenly. There was definitely something poetic about them. You felt the warmth in your heart. Cove looked at your face, his smile now fragile. It makes me think about the two of us. We're together, then we say goodbye, and then we're together again, day after day, year after year. Even if our time apart gets longer, that doesn't make it forever. Little, I'll always be there whenever you want to see me. It's so cute. You were so in love with him, there was nothing else you could think then. And he needed to know. You were so happy to be with him, he needed to know that. It's fun. Your heart started to pound in your ears, and all you could hear was blood rushing. You looked at Cove and found yourself fixated. The only thing you were aware of was your rapid pulse and him. It was as if your entire relationship was playing over in your mind every step that led you here. Everything from the first night you met to how you started as little kids, who were good friends and grew even closer. To the first time you saw fireflies together, to the first time he snuck into your room, and then every other moment you shared, all of it came back to you. Cove's expression had turned curious as you left him waiting, wordless. He tilted his head in a question. His lips parted to speak, but you went first. I love you. I'm in love with you. I love you. I love you so, so much. With your confession, the world stopped for a second and Cove froze. Oh, jeez. Then, as if your words had turned A faucet. Tears began falling from Cove's cheeks. He silently mouthed something, but you couldn't make out the word. Cove? I'm sorry. Oh, his face. You stepped closer and closer, removing the distance between the two of you. He covered his mouth with a hand. He must have forgotten about the firefly resting there, and it flew off into the night with a twinkle. Oh, thank God it flew away. Imagine, like, smack. Oh. Oh, that would have been sad. He used his other hand to shakily reach over and interlace his fingers with yours. He gripped you tightly as he started sobbing harder. You cried with him, you wiped away his tears, you squeezed his hand back, you smiled at him, and you chuckled affectionately. Gently, you took your free hand and wiped his tears away. I love you, Cove. It's okay, Cove. It's okay, I promise. Yeah, I had a feeling it would go like this. Can you tell me how you feel? I want to say again. I say again. Cove removed the hand from his mouth and used it to hold the back of your head. Oh. He brought your face to him, bending his neck down to be closer to your level. Oh, alright. I know I'm short. And your foreheads brushed together. His voice trembled, it cracked and shook. This was raw, straight from Cove's heart. It's so cute! Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. So cute! He closed his eyes tightly and repeated himself, but now he could say it firmly. I love you. His aqua eyes sparkled when he opened them again. Fresh tears poured out with an outburst of emotion.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I can't get it together. It's just, I tried so much to love you quietly, secretly. Oh, secretly, and that being it. But I really wanted you to feel the same. I wanted you to love me back. I wanted to hear you say it. It's so cute. I can't stand it. It's so fucking cute. I just keep thinking, what if you didn't? Maybe what I felt was too much, and I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to put any of that on you either. You weren't doing something bad. Everything you do is right and wonderful.
I'm always like this.
It wasn't your fault I had to be like that. I'm just like that. Baby, you're fine. I'm pretty sure that's normal for most people. He leaned in closer, hiding his face from view, his lips trailing over your ear. He whispered, "But you love me. You love me." He moved his head back so his forehead was centered with yours, and then he closed his eyes. He shook. The hand you still held was trembling. I am so sorry I'm really always like this. You're fine, baby. You're sweet, and it's cute. You kissed him, you held him, you gave him a moment. I kissed the boy. You pulled him into you, kissing his lips. He returned it desperately. Cove managed to bring a fragile smile. Cove managed to bring a fragile smile to his face. He was still shaking, but there was something decided about him now. I love you, little. I love you. He repeated it more, as if to make up for all the times he didn't let himself say it before. Aww. As he spoke, his tears dried up, and his breathing became more even. The reaffirmation helped him calm down. Thank you for telling me. Cove's smile was bolder, even if his voice wavered, and he ducked his head with a childish shyness. He clearly fought against getting emotional again. His watery eyes, his mused hair, the tears still drying on his cheeks. You loved him so much. I needed to tell you, you've always been lucky, haven't you? I'm so happy to have done it. You're welcome. It was only the truth. Cove held the sides of your face, but moved his thumb down to brush Oh Oh my. Whoa! Oh no! He wanted to keep touching you and you wanted oh no! Hold on, I might censorship screen. there's nothing explicit in this game, but it's very cute. Ooh! Ooh! Ah! Ah! This is different, okay? Is this like... Okay, can we do all of it like we did the other one? Hold on. Ah! God. God damn it. Okay. If I can do all of them, I will. But, this might be funny. Then you stepped forward with purpose and pressed your hands against his shoulders. You kept walking. His eyes widened, but he let you lead him, stepping back at the prompting. Cove squeaked when he made contact with the wall. You stared up into his flushed face. Cove's body was tense, being in such a position, but you knew with complete certainty that it wasn't in a bad way. You could feel one of his knees rubbing against the inside of your leg and Whoa! Alright, it's spicier than I thought it was. We do get to do all of them. Yes! Fuck yeah, we're doing all of them. It's not explicit. It's allowed by TOS. Okay, hold on. Do we want to just... We can go for the hair next. It'll be fun! Sure! You stayed close to him and used your hand to comb through his hair. He leaned into your hand while your fingers got deeper into his strands. Cove tilted his head and brought his mouth to yours, your lips delicately touched. Too brief and slight to be a true kiss, but enough to be exciting. The slight touches were because he was also using his mouth to mumble something, although you couldn't make out any clear words. You began to pull Cove into a kiss, and he welcomed it. Both of his hands cradled your head gently. He was full of sweetness for you, and eagerly you took it. So cute! You only separated when you needed air. You huffed, getting oxygen back into your lungs, all the while grinning at your boyfriend. Sweetie. Cove beamed at you and then kissed you back once more, a brief and solid stamp of his affection. It's so cute! We'll do this one. This one's cute too. You moved your face over to his cheek and gave it a nice smooch. He smiled and then planted another on the tip of his nose. You kissed across his forehead, moved on to gently brush your lips against his eyelids, and then the corners of his mouth. He made small, pleased noises and wrapped his arms around your lower back. He pressed himself even closer against you. This boy knows he's not going home tonight, right? Like, he's stuck here. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You don't go home after this. This is what we're doing. Satisfied my ass. You brought one hand to the nape of his neck while you ran the other along his chest. His shirt wrinkled, but neither of you cared. His body was firm to the touch. Athletic boy. Oh! He kissed your ear long enough to heat it up and down to your jawline, letting the warmth spread while you touched him. You nuzzled up against him. You could hear his breathing pick up. You kissed across the exposed part of his neck. He made a quick gasp and let out a long sigh. While you busied yourself over his neck, he reached down to stroke your oh! This boy isn't going home. He's not. Yeah, let's do it. You slid your hand down his back, feeling the muscles underneath. You could feel them tightening the lower you got. You paused at the base of his spine, fingers tapping with intention, but giving him time to voice disagreement with your course of action. He did quietly murmur something. It's okay, I don't mind. I mean, it's not just that. I want you. He's so cute. He couldn't muster the last word, but still feeling validated, you let your hands cup his butt, squeeze it. Cove took a sharp breath. Cute. His voice was laced with embarrassment, but not dissatisfaction. Then Cove carefully rested his hands on your shoulders and looked away. He took a few deep breaths as he kept you there. You could tell he was worked up, and he could... As worked up as he could manage for the night, that was alright. You were feeling rather satisfied, too. You smiled a little and tried to slow your own racing heart. You couldn't help thinking about it. Alright, I guess we're done. Yeah. How happy you were to be with him, how you were certain you wanted to spend your life with him, how you were certain you wanted to spend your life with him, and you told him as much. I think this is more apt. You adored it every day, every minute with Cove was something special. You were so glad to be together. Finally, he was able to laugh softly. The tears were nothing but salty remnants on his cheeks. He brightened up as if finally able to process the absolute joy of tonight in full. You felt good too and took a little more time together to simply exist in the new dynamic you had stepped into. Cove looked into your eyes with a soft, slightly shy expression. There was hope in his smile. Do you want to go to the hill with me? I bet there's still fireflies. Yeah, let's go. You nodded yes. You shook your head no, maybe another night. It's too late, I'm tired. I'm not that tired, apparently. We're pretty... Sure. Cove brightened. He was practically bouncing at the thought of a secret excursion before he suddenly became bashful. How should we leave? We could just try the door. We don't have to do the window thing, but maybe that'd bother your family? You both chuckled at how awkward it would be if your mom's, or worse, Liz, saw you going on a midnight fire-catching trip. You'd be sure to avoid that. But you wanted to use the front door. You could leave from... Sure. Let's go through the window. Cove nodded in understanding. You grabbed some shoes and readied yourself for an adventure. He's still in nice clothes. He's gonna get them dirty. You were glad that there was no way you'd run into another soul outside. Cove would be way overdressed and you were still in your pajamas. You let Cove go first. He stepped back onto the ledge as you carefully followed. He shuffled along and soon you reached the garage. You planned to use the fence from there to reach the ground. Cove shakily climbed down to the fence and held it tightly with a death grip. He hesitated for a moment and then let himself fall to the ground. He leaned against the fence and projected hushed words up to where you were waiting. Do you want help? Yes. You got to the edge and let Cove spot your descent. He grabbed you about halfway down and brought you to rest firmly in the ground. So cute. Cove gave you an encouraging smile, but neither of you risked speaking yet. You briskly snuck behind the house and up to the old white poppy hill. And Cove was right, the entire hill was lit up, insects twinkling here and there with their pale yellow light. Cove let out a content sigh, finally able to relax in full. He strode further up the hill and to better enjoy the view. You walked along as well, letting yourself be surrounded by the twinkling display. Then, without warning, Cove plopped onto his back. He paid no mind to smacking his formal yeah, alright. Your dad's gonna well, no, your dad will let you get away with murder, I guess. He put an arm under his head and stretched the rest of his limbs out. He was clearly getting quite comfortable in the dirt. You kept standing, you sat down, you laid in the grass. You looked down and found a soft-looking spot to sit. You brushed some of the longer grass aside and settled in. Wonder if Dad will be mad about the grass stains. Again, your dad will let you get away with murder. He tugged at the collar of his shirt, and he didn't sound concerned, just idly curious. Maybe you should figure out how to clean it before he finds out? His smile bent a little, and it went silent between you. The only sounds were the rustling of bugs and the breeze, the faraway crashes of waves in the sea. You couldn't help but reflect on what happened only a brief time earlier between this and your room. This almost felt like a different world. Was it even real? What happened between you two? You could almost be convinced it wasn't, and that you had never actually stopped dreaming. You stole a glance at Cove. He caught you and blushed. That little redness assured you. Cove remembered, same as you, what you had was real. You continued to watch fireflies. You wanted to catch fireflies. You asked Cove. You wanted to challenge him. You asked Cove. Didn't answer me. We should catch fireflies, don't you think? Cove turned his head towards you with a bent grin. Think that sounds like a plan. I said we were gonna do 2 of these, but it actually might just be the one, because this one is long, I guess. You smiled at each other, and Cove rolled his fancy sleeves up, and then he clambered to his feet, full of bug-catching enthusiasm. You got up and brushed off your clothes. A pesky blade of grass tried to stay stuck to your back. With simultaneous nods of your heads, you both ran around the hill, trying to take hold of the firefly. Every so often, one of you would succeed. Like the children you once were, you would race over to the other and show off your catch. What had actually changed, the fireflies were as bright as ever, and you laughed together the entire time. The hour grew late, and the fireflies mostly dispersing until only a few stragglers remained. Then even they blinked out of sight, leaving you alone with Cove and your thoughts. Cove stole a second to release the words that had been filling his head during the quiet. Eee! I love you. You felt a great deal of happiness. Cove's expression was completely open, honest, and full of sincerity. He meant every word. He truly loved you. No matter how much it didn't seem real yet, it was. It felt as though this was the night that would never end, but you knew it would have to, because I'm about to pass out all too soon. You were only grateful to have been a part of it. Just pass out on the hill, just... These were moments to truly treasure. You'd never let yourself forget them. Eee, it's so cute. Alright, how long was that? That was an hour and 40, roughly. I don't really want to push my luck, because knowing me, the next one will be long too. That's fine. We can just have a short man today. That one was really cute, and we did a lot of stuff. Whee! That one was so adorable. If you play that while you're, like, not dating yet, but, like, in love and crushing on each other, that's actually, like, the confession scene for, like, all of it, not just being boyfriend, not just, like, being in love, but also deciding to be boyfriend and girlfriend at that point. Anyway, really cute. Sorry we couldn't do more, but I do have to sleep tonight. I don't think there's anybody... Yeah, no. That's fine. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Have a good night, and goodbye!